And then the nurse comes, she's like, oh, you're awake now? Yeah. Let's bring baby. I mean, I'm like, I'm still groggy.
Yes.
This time, Martin has left. I'm all by myself in the ward. And then they're like, now is when you're bringing the baby. But then they brought the baby.
Yeah.
Put the baby there. And
left.
No instructions on this is how, or this is the...
This
like,
side up.
It's like, listen, you and everybody shall carry their cross.
Jumbo Jumbo, this is Sophie.
Jumbo Jumbo. Sorry. Hi, this is Melissa.
Hi, I'm Wanjiro, and this is Ninja Parenting. And as you can tell, there might be a little bit more than coffee in our cups today.
There's only coffee.
We're still
Decent moms.
Even though it's 5:00 somewhere, it's not.
It is not in Nairobi.
There's no judgment. It's okay.
No, there isn't
If you
actually.
decided
Today
to
is
avoid
Friday.
your drink.
It's Furahid,
Yeah.
right.
How are
Do
you,
what
ladies?
makes you happy.
Mukoaje.
You can hear today we are chirpy.
I know.
Chirpy.
That's good.
Yeah.
You
But
slept
the weird
well?
thing is it's from a lack of sleep.
Oh, yeah?
From a lack of like just coordination and organization. So this is just we are rallying because we really
So maybe it's
excited to be
adrenaline.
here. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
And how are you?
I'm good. I think I'm happy it's Friday. I look forward to Friday forever and a day. It should just be an official, non-working, non-committal day.
Yeah.
True. But
But
I feel like it gets to Friday and then
Yeah.
it's fast forward. It's like it's like Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. And it is now Monday morning. Yeah.
you have not lied. You have not lied.
I guess we savor this
Yeah, I know.
Yes, and this energy.
weekend. Yeah.
And if somebody is watching and it's not Friday for you, you have permission to Friday today.
It's okay,
regardless
imagine.
of what day of the week it is.
Make it whatever you want it to be. If you feel like today is Friday and it's Monday,
Friday.
yeah, Friday.
Just don't get fired.
TM.
Don't get fired for acting like it's Friday. Yeah.
And decide that you're going to be appearing at work as transparent.
So, ladies, today, let's talk about what happens after you have your baby and you're kicked out of the hospital. Because that's essentially what happens. They kick you out and they're like, go forth. So, let us recall, if you can. I know it's been some time since we were in that place.
Although, speak for yourself.
Yes, for me, it's been years. Yeah. But yes, I still remember the first 3 to 6 weeks postpartum with a baby. Oh my.
But when is the point when they kick you out of the hospital? I'm like, what is that point of no return? Like, where now we can't go back. This is it. It's happened. Because for me, it was somebody came to me and handed me a child and said, this one is yours. Yeah, you need to change it. You need to feed it. Like, that was the moment for me where it was like, oh my gosh, what did we sign up for?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going back from this. And then, at the hospital, they want you to sleep with the baby also. Somehow, there's this pressure for you to start breastfeeding a child. And I'm like, but how do the parts interlock? This was where and they do what? And I had not prepared, honestly. I think for me, I had been, everything was leading up to labor.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I forgot to read about what happens. How do you hold them? What are they supposed to look like and everything?
Yeah.
So that was, I think, the most shocking thing for me. Just one day, somebody just handed me a child. And I think I told you guys before, I mentioned that it was CS and it was general anesthesia. So I was literally knocked out. So I didn't even see child issuing from my body.
Yeah.
It was just, I woke up groggy, everybody's talking about how pretty she is and what. And then somebody comes and gives me a wrinkly bag. Says, this is your child.
I'm like, that's the part they never tell you.
Oh, yeah.
That honestly, there's nothing like the baby has been born and they're cute. They look like little rats. Honestly. With crinkled skin.
And it's peeling.
They look like little.
And
what
it's
are they?
blotchy.
Was it Benjamin Button? What is that?
Benjamin Button. Yes.
It's like that. And then you open up the baby to change, and then you're like, the knees, everything is wrinkled. Like, I'm like.
And folded up.
Yeah, and
awkward.
Honestly, they look like little hairless rats.
Yeah,
they're not cute. There's nobody will come and tell you that baby's cute on day one.
And they don't have an expression. They just stare into your soul, judging you.
No, and then
are you worthy?
And the little feet, the little what is it called?
Those reflexes.
The reflex, where they just constantly just have little scares, like little tremors. You're like. What's going on with this one?
It's defective.
Did I used to traumatize you in your stomach? Why are you glitching? So, and then I think for me, the point of no return was the same thing. I went through like hours of labor. It was terrible. And then ended up going in for a CS after many, many hours of laboring. It was terrible. And then it was I remember the anesthetist.
That guy with the needle.
Guys, I made it. And coming in, and at that point, I was in so much pain. And it's pain, I think that for me, anybody who tells you that they were crying, that tears came out, I think it's a lie. Because I think there's enough pain
you cross over.
You cross over that even tears cannot. Like even the water in your body dries.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to be manufactured.
And then you've cried, and it's happened for so long because you were there a day, a night, another day.
Another day, and it's been, because for me it was the experience of like I started off fine. We thought we were fine. At some point I wasn't progressing. Then I hadn't broken my water, so they decided to break my water so that I can progress, and that is the most painful process you'll ever. And they never warn you. He just does. Let me just check. Then you're like, what did you just do? And then the pain you've never ever thought existed in life begins.
Yeah.
And then the next morning I hadn't progressed, and then they came in and they were like, let's induce. So they induced now. And after that, I still didn't progress beyond that point. And so he was like, this child might go into distress. We have to go in. Because now I was spent. I was not crying. I was not making any noises because I was trying to save my energy and also, where do you have the energy anymore after all that pain you've been through the whole night?
You're barely sleeping.
So I remember then the anesthetist coming in, and then he's like, and at that point he was like, so, they start giving you the spiel for, so now this is what. I was like, why are we still talking? Just
get it over with.
Out.
Yeah.
Oh, so you also got knocked out.
I had to, because at that point it was like, now, I don't know why. I guess different gynas have different options of doing things.
Yeah.
This particular one prefers to knock someone out.
Okay.
But I didn't mind because it was just terrible.
like,
I was just like, just take me in and let's wheel me out with a child. And so they knocked me out. And I remember just waking up in confusion for like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that then, you wake up and start feeling yourself at the bottom for like, okay, I can feel it. And then I think for me it was, the point of no return was there. You're groggy, you're in and out, and that general anesthesia takes really long to wear
get
off.
out of your system.
So I do remember coming in and out of it. I think I saw my baby much, because I got my baby at like 10:35 in the morning. I got to see her at like 2.
Yeah, because they tell you that you have to, like, it has to be completely out of your system. You have to be able to stand up. I guess they're afraid you'll drop the child because you're not fully in control
mine, I
of
didn't
your
even
faculties.
like see, because I kept coming in and out.
They don't even bring the child to you until they're convinced that you're ready.
So so Martin actually went for the baby because he was like, have you even seen the baby? I was like, oh. And then I blacked out. Then I woke up again, and then he was there with the baby, and then he was like, oh, look at her. So I was like, oh, groggily looked over, and then I just noticed that like her head, because of the pressure, had sort of like gotten had
different
a dent
shape
of sort, and it was dark around that area. So that child had been engaged and really under pressure for a while. And I do remember looking at her and looking, oh, what's wrong with her? I was out again until the night. And I remember waking up at like 7, 8-ish. And then the nurse comes, she's like, oh, you're awake now? Yeah. Let's bring baby. I mean, I'm like, I'm still groggy.
Yes.
This time, Martin has left. I'm all by myself in the ward. And then they're like, now is when you're bringing the baby. But then they brought the baby. Yeah. Put the baby there. And left. No instructions on this is how, or this is the
this side up.
It's like, listen, you and everybody shall carry their cross. That was the moment. So at that point, I'm in and out of sleep. The baby, I keep saying, is jet lagged also, because it's been a long journey, is also in and out of sleep. But your patterns are not necessarily the same. So I remember at some point the baby waking up, and I could hear the baby crying, and I'm still so groggy and weak. But now I have to get up and get this baby. Her. So I remember getting up, and it was that thing now, all those things you don't expect. I remember during the baby shower being told, it was your mom's story, where she was like, I was told there'll be some bleeding. Some bleeding.
Romantically.
And it was so funny how she said, so she carried liners, right?
Yeah.
Ready for some light bleeding.
Yeah.
Where?
Panty liners.
Panty liners. you know, they give you those pads that you just you
It's a
switch like
diaper.
front and up. You just pull
pull-up.
it up.
Yeah.
It's literally a pull up,
Yeah.
but it's not a pull up that you wear like a full on diaper.
Yeah.
Like you pull it up and then you have to balance it because you can't wear underwear after
Yeah.
you've just had your whatever.
Yes.
So you're gonna be balancing it in between your legs as you take your bathroom breaks and stuff. It's such an interesting. I mean, nobody really prepares you for those things, but they're so helpful. They're like thick but helpful. And you just have to position them well, otherwise, you know, things go bust. And I remember having to get up off the bed. So, you know, so you have this thing you're balancing. Then also yourself, because you're not trusting like your balance is okay. And at that time, I think we'd already done the bathroom walk to the bathroom and back.
Oh, okay. So you'd been up once
So I'd
before.
been
you'd
up
actually
once
gotten
before,
up.
but with help, but I was still very dizzy. So I do remember getting up and then trying to maneuver myself because of all this pain to get off the bed. And I remember standing up, and then there was, and I was not told, I came to find out 1 or 2 years later that this is not normal. I woke up and there was like a bloodbath. I kid you not, a whole pool of just, it was like the floodgates of bleeding had been opened. I didn't know. The doctor didn't tell me that's a problem. The nurses didn't, and even they didn't have. So I'm here wondering, do I take care of myself or do I take care of my baby?
Were you in pain?
No, I wasn't. But it was just like, it was literally bleeding. Like it's just trickling down on the floor and there's now a pool of blood. So I'm like, do I stop and try to feed the baby first? But where are we even sitting? Because if we're bleeding like this, what's happening? And I remember trying to like push myself to where the tissues are, put like a whole bunch on the floor, then picked up the baby as I rang the bell. And even then, it didn't trigger the nurses or anybody that this is not normal, you know. So we just kept doing it throughout the night, and I just kept bleeding like that throughout the night.
Wow.
It was more than 3-4 times.
Yeah.
But me, I'm thinking it's normal.
Yeah.
Like,
So
because
did I
nobody
even
has
mention
prepared
it?
you
Nobody
for
has prepared. And
what
even
kind
the
of
guy now
volume.
is not telling you, hey,
Yeah.
look out for this, look out for that, look out for this. And so I do remember at that point wondering, oh my God, is this what life is about? And then, of course, now you take this baby. You've not been shown how to latch. In none of that. You're really just winging this. And you take the child and try to position them to what you think is a breastfeeding position.
According
And
to the
you're just
movies.
thinking you just put the nipple in and hey, it's on like Donkey Kong. And this kid is trying to suckle. Both of you are confused about what's happening. So they're upset at this point because you took too long. I mean, where were you? And you were here and she's crying. You're
You're
frustrated.
almost
You're just like, okay, maybe it's if I move position, and then finally you see some semblance of, she's pulling something, right?
Yes.
And then she circles for a bit and then sleeps.
Chaos.
And then you put her down and try to resume sleeping position. And it keeps happening through the night, but in more and more, obviously you're not doing it right. So the child is getting nothing, even if there was colostrum. But that was step one.
Yeah.
Then the second part was, now you call the nurse again because it keeps happening, this whole situation. And then I remember now finally she's like, uko na maziwa? Then she just comes, opens up my book and just presses my nipple for like, you're very good, uko sawa. And you're just seeing some yellowish, passish looking thing.
Actually, you mentioned that. Like you said the word colostrum.
Colostrum, yes, it's that fast milk.
milk.
It's like fat. It's very
fast
good for
butter.
it's like butter, honestly. It looks like ghee. And she just presses your nipple so unceremoniously.
Can
Like
you just buy
I
me
guess there are
coffee
no
first?
boundaries, right?
What's your name?
Also, by the minute you're actually taken in and you're going into labor, your body no longer
It's
belongs
not
to you.
yours.
I think that's actually the point of that's where the point of no return
For you, it
begins.
began.
Because it's the, how far are we now?
Shwa.
Yeah.
Somebody comes in with fingers into your, it's like, spread your legs.
Yes.
You know, it's so...
You're dressed in this weird gunia, like
That,
you're
I
just
mean,
a piece of meat. Yeah, people are turning you.
People are
they're
turning-
putting
yeah.
things in you.
Inserting
Fingers.
things.
Yes.
I mean, and it's
Mostly
fingers.
digits.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they're different, so they don't introduce themselves. I think my sister was telling me like 8 different people.
Yeah.
Just walk in.
They just come in, okay, it's time to check how far you've dilated. Then it's never like a cute process.
No,
I'm like, why don't you
no.
just put on the gloves a bit further away? It's like, it's time to check how far we've gone.
So you're scaring me.
You know, you're like, wow, this is so intrusive. And then you're just hoping that the next one will remember to put gel so that it's a smoother process.
Yes, yeah.
You're
Like
just
even
like,
my husband has never touched
I
me
know.
like that.
You're like, some of them will come with rough hands. You're just like,
and then they're making eye contact, like, no, sir.
it's like,
No.
just be gone. And it's that point, it's just ridiculous. And then when you're going into theater,
Yeah.
they take off everything.
Yeah.
And then they begin
Then
to
you're
just,
shaved.
then they're like, oh, madam, they shave you while you're still awake. As in,
You are
it's so
shaved.
and then you're left, and then you're just left there as a body.
Exposed.
And just exposed, and then they put this liquid, especially if they're trying to now do whatever that yellowish
I'm getting
whatever.
trauma.
You're
As in,
remembering.
You're just left there, like you're like, oh well, I guess this is how dead bodies feel. Only
Yeah.
that I'm alive.
Do you remember even just how you were transferred from the
yeah.
bed that you came with from the ward to the one that
it's
is
the
for
ER,
surgery?
it's the ER type of nini. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
But only you're not unconscious. You're very conscious as to what's happening.
No one tells you about that shaving.
No.
Oh, kwanza that shaving.
Yes.
With
With clippers.
Oh, so now that's the part I tried to prepare for because I was like, I guess they shave you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had attempted, let me tell you. You know how you can't see anything? It must have been like a zebra crossing. You know?
You did your own business.
Patchy Savannah land.
Yeah,
Because
they come back.
They still
with
came and
clippers.
cleaned it up. So I'm not sure what I had done at the time.
You just
Maybe we
trust.
should have gone for waxing. I mean, because really,
Yeah.
you may as well have just gone and
Me times two.
I chosen the person who will
number
do it
2
for
and
you.
number 3. I did VIT.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was not about that
You know
stuff.
what? By number 2 and number 3, I was just like, listen, the body won't be mine anyways.
So, might as well.
Yeah.
Let them just do the thing.
Maybe that
So,
was
yeah.
my last bastion of dignity. Like, no, I don't want somebody shaving me.
Yeah,
Because,
and a
and then they're
guy.
over there like,
I know.
It's a guy. It's like, okay,
And then
madam,
they put
don't
a
worry.
catheter.
Yeah.
Just open your legs a bit more.
People should just push. Ladies, if
Oh,
you're
that's
listening,
catheter. Oh.
just push your baby out if you're able, because this other debauchery that is going on in theater,
And then the catheter is it's unavoidable.
it's a hot mess.
Like it's just so a catheter is like a thing. If you've never interacted with it, it's something they insert into your vagina.
it's not the vagina,
Alright,
it's your urethra,
Oh, yeah?
where you
where
pee
the pee
from.
comes out.
Well,
in case you
But
release.
it's fine. But where does it come in through?
No, it is going through your urethra, which is a whole other.
Exactly. But the main entrance.
What do you mean the main entrance? It's not close to your vagina.
Oh, there's a classroom.
Oh.
Yes.
Session
No,
that you-
well-
It is not in your vagina. Yes.
Okay, here we
That
go.
is
guys.
the
above.
other-
It's above.
The other opening that you have, it is above. And I will show you at a different
Hey.
time. Yeah,
Okay, well,
it's a whole
it just
other.
felt like they were being in.
in there.
In
you
there,
need
yeah,
to go
because it's
back
all
into-
numb, but it's your urethra, which is the
Anyway.
pee center.
That is fine. But at that point, and then they release like a thing. Then you just see the pee just. You're like,
Me, I don't remember any of that.
I didn't
think-
even know I had one. I thought it was a hot water bottle when I came out of theater for the first one. I was like, this weird thing at my bed. Oh, they're so sweet. They give me a hot water bottle because it's cold.
it's just
Turns out.
But anyway,
It turns out it was
so
your
I
pee
think for
bag.
me, point of no return was that point of the first of all, step 1 of everybody inserting,
Yes.
and then the preparation for theater, and then now
The baby.
the baby
and-
now coming. And now at this point, it's like, in fact, this one is not just we'll leave each other at theater and goodbye and
Yeah.
never see you hopefully ever again, Mr. Anesthetist. But like now it's me and baby.
Yeah.
And like this is it. I know nothing around this child. And that part now, as fate would have it, both my gyna not giving me enough information, and the hospital also that I got number 1 at was not the best. At the time, maternity was full, so I was in a regular ward. So they don't really take care of you. So it was terrible because then I literally found out that they have baby washing classes the day I was being discharged.
How
So
long
my
did you
baby
stay?
was there. So my baby was 2 days. 2 days. So my baby was like a guinea pig for now that last. And like I'm fully dressed, discharged.
Yeah.
So my baby was used that day to wash.
show the
Let me tell you,
mummies.
that babe screamed.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I'm going home with. She was like, the other moms were just looking
Washing
at me
dishes.
like,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Oi,
Yeah, they
that's your
really-
child.
Yeah.
They
you know.
sugua them like sahanis.
Oh yeah,
They screamed. You're just like, shall it make it?
I know.
Little
and you're
one.
like, and that now is when you're telling me this is what I need to do at home.
Which you'll never do. For me, my point of no return was the actual being kicked out, discharge. You know, because in the hospital, I still think that I was being taken care of.
There's some honeymooning.
There's some honeymoon. Someone is coming in to say whatever they are saying, right? They're checking in, they're giving me my meds.
bringing you chocolate.
There's my cakes and hot chocolates and soups. There's all kinds of...
Kwanza on rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24/7.
Just but there at the corridor every time you feel hungry. Just
Yeah.
go.
And so I didn't feel like I was required to know much because there was some assistance of some kind. Whether
You
it
ring a
was
bell, somebody comes.
and whether it was high class assistance or not, it didn't matter because someone would come eventually. So the whole teaching of the nipple latch attachment, all of that, I was like, it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's someone.
Yeah.
Watch at the time to go home.
Uh-huh.
We're like, now, we. Eh?
Yeah.
I was like, how is it going to be?
Yes.
And it was rough.
What was the first night like?
The first night was fear and sweating. I have never feared for my life, my own life, not even that child. Mine. Because I was like, it will cry. I don't know what we are doing. The husband has no clue. YouTube is just making it sound so rosy and beautiful.
And had you pushed or you had a CS?
No, I had a CS also. Remember from our last stories, me, I didn't labor. I did nothing. I was a bure cow.
Child was delivered unto you.
When it came to effort, I put zero work into it. So going home was now the proper introduction into all this motherhood thing. And it was rough because I didn't know the whole latching was a disaster. Because this is what happens. Your breasts get really engorged with the milk and it becomes too full for the baby to latch properly. So what you're supposed to do is express a little to kind of soften because it becomes like a big balloon that you can't put your mouth around.
Yeah.
So that's what she was trying to do. And me, I was like, but it is here. Just look at it. Look at it. It is here.
It's a bullseye. Like it's literally...
Open your eyes, little baby.
The only black object pointing at you at the moment.
And I couldn't figure out why she cannot see
Yeah.
that we are all ready for her.
Yeah.
Primed.
Yes.
So she's trying to latch. It is not working because this thing is like a rock. It's so full and extended. So I'm in the shower trying to relax. And when I get into the shower, the milk just sprinkles.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't understand this baby. This baby is defective. It doesn't know what to do, obviously.
Yeah.
Call the neighbor. The neighbor walks in. She finds me in the shower. Now everyone is crying. Baby, me, we're all hysterical because we are like...
Yeah, it's not working. But why?
So, but I have a question. What were you doing with the baby in the shower? Trying to
No, the
breastfeed?
baby is there.
Yeah.
Me, I'm in the shower. The door is open. And because you've had so much indignity in the hospital, you're not even concerned that you're nude most of the time.
So
You
you're
don't
in
care.
the shower, baby's in the stream crying,
Sitting
and the
room.
door is open.
The door is open. Ted is somewhere. He's somewhere. Who knows? The neighbor walks in and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm half dressed.
Yeah.
And we're all just in hysterics.
Yeah.
And she's had her baby a month before me.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I'm hoping that she knows what's cutting. I almost want to offer my baby to her, like, you just latch kidogo, just to
Just a bit.
poesha her, please, as I try and manage all of this that's going on. It was mayhem. And of course, I try and call my mom. Who is she? Shosho Sally.
Oh, she's like, can't
I don't
remember.
that.
Cannot.
Auntie, what happened? It's not latching.
Okay, boy.
I don't know what to do. Anyway, you call me in the morning.
If you haven't died, let's talk.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
And then
ma'am.
the husband is suggesting maybe we call his mother. I'm like, maybe you kill me.
It's not an
After that,
option.
we all die.
I know.
Then your mother comes and finds me as defective.
feeding her
grand
Oh,
and the first grand one.
Yeah.
God forbid.
I was
I
like,
have failed from the
I
very
have
beginning.
failed from
No,
day
thank you.
one. So I was just like, hey, the first 3 weeks,
Yeah.
I will never forget them.
Yeah.
I remember then when we finally got the latching, and then she would latch, and I'm just the toes. I would curl my toes
Yeah.
because the pain.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
come back. Ooh.
That thing was worse than labor. Even the labor that I didn't have and the post CS,
But you are certain that this pain was worse.
that pain
It's
was
true.
exquisite.
And
You
it's
even
from
start
this
to
from
build
the-
a resentment.
Yeah,
You're
Yes.
like, every time the baby starts crying, you're like,
we're
no,
going- we're
no,
going-
I
I
can't do
do
this
remember
again.
moments where I was just like, what more do you want from me? Like, have you
Taken
not
my
fed
life.
enough, child? Did we not feed 30 minutes ago?
You know, like I mean that sucking motion is like sandpaper.
Yeah.
I have never felt anything like that.
And I guess now understanding it later is just
Yeah.
now the importance of that. I guess for me it was just now being it's because I had been given that information before. It's remember me, I had sided with the nipple cream before.
Yeah.
And so I had been told every feed, after every feed,
Apply.
slap that like as in
Save
fact, even-
yourself.
yeah, so we'd do it like before. So I'd clean the nipple before the whatever after feed, and then I'd really I'd really make sure they just stay. And
Or
that's-
breast milk if you
or
don't have
now
nipple
breast
cream.
milk I came to discover later. But now the Lancino really helped in that initial stages, because like it's literally you can actually slap it on just before, because it's safe. You can actually put just before the baby feeds, because then it gives like a layer of protection for you.
Wow.
And so I would do that now with every feed.
But
Still,
And the
it would
latch.
sting like kwanza. And then I think for me it was the effect of there's a stinging of like her sucking kwanza with all the, I don't know whether what I don't know what anger issues they have. They just come in with all their gusto and put it all into it. And they just, I know when they latch, it's like a vortex. It just,
and then you
when
feel it's like
you
it's coming from
even
here, like a
removing them.
steamer. You feel like an electric charge.
So first they latch,
Yes.
and if they latch wrong, even trying to remove them,
Yeah.
it's like,
Let me
this
go,
is a
let
vacuum,
me
let go, And it's like a fight between the two of you for like,
Yes.
just please
Get off.
release and do this again, And it's now a fight for, now everybody's upset. Now they're just moving around like a kabad, stomachs with their mouths open. So you're trying to target,
Because
to
they're
get the target
blind.
to get into it.
Yeah.
But then it was at that point, even as they're latching, so there's a pain from the actual nipple as they pull. And then there's the ripple effect of what you feel now in the
uterus, 'cause it's still
Because it's
contracting.
contracting. So as they breastfeed, literally at that time, you have two pain points, which is the uterus and the nipple. So you're just like, which one do I address or tune into?
Choose a struggle.
more? Because I die. So you're just left like,
Yeah.
and then it's one of those pains that you're just like, you just hold on to dear life for like,
Right? And then your husband is like, babe, I'll be back. See, muko sawa.
or the husband is like, what's happening?
Yeah. How can it be that hard?
Why
surely?
because you're just like, why? It's like, what's happening? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Can't even
It's
explain.
just pain.
Yeah, this shows is asking. Mine, he's looking, I'm just going to catch up with the guys. See, you guys you're all right? It's
You
like,
look like you've got this. There's nothing more I
it's
can
like
do.
I'm
at
never
this
touching you again in my life.
So
Never.
there's that breastfeeding, and then there's now the night part for me, which was also the terrible part, where the first like 5 days of your siesta. I don't know why, like for me, day 5 and 6 were like the worst. Where for me, I had this phobia of co-sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like I'd fall asleep into a deep, deep sleep and
then
sleep on my
roll
child
over.
and smother them and kill them. I'm like, I'm not ready for that responsibility of taking my child's life from this earth after all that work I've put into bringing them into this world. And so I do remember now actively just making sure that they slept in the cot from day one, and they've always slept, and there was a feeding seat. So I also had the fear of falling asleep while feeding them, and then my breast just, because the face to breast ratio is like, wow. I mean, literally you can smother the child
the
with your
whole
breast.
head.
Yeah,
It's the
as
whole
in
breast.
your breast is literally bigger than their head. Like you just move
You
it a
really
little bit
saw
and the
yourself
child is
killing
not
this
breathing.
baby.
Yeah. So I'd just be like, I need to sit on a chair. We sit and position ourselves. I get a good posture and we sit and we feed. And if I get out of the bed, then I have to wake up, feed. So, but then practically, when you now have that CS, it literally means that you have to lift yourself, get off the bed, walk to these stitches you're healing from. Now, multiple times, because the child is feeding every hour or two.
And you don't realize how much you use those muscles until you
Until
can't
you
use
do-
them.
yeah.
Yeah, like what?
So I
Those
do
were-
remember having to sleep, like I slept sitting.
Yeah.
Because then it should be easier for me to it's throwing the legs. You can manage with the legs and not so much the having to, the sit up action. And even then, it would get so painful at some point that literally now we had to tag team. And I guess I was fortunate enough that, Martin was then in tune. He was helpful at this point because he could see how much I was struggling. So he would, I'd try to do it the first few times and he'd ask, can I pass? I'd be like, right now I'm still okay. But at the point it's painful, he would then notice from I'm not moving as fast. And now he'd chime in to help with passing the baby during the feeds, burping and putting down the baby. Because at that point you're in so much pain, you're not able to. So it was terrible. Up until now we got past day 6, 7 is when now I was now able to now start moving and it's for me that was a terrible part. And then you still have to go to the toilet almost just, it's like your hormones still haven't settled. You still have to pee quite a bit at night.
Because you also have a lot of fluids
Yeah.
in your body
That
left
is
over
drained
from
to drain. Yeah.
even just when you have when you're pregnant, the volume of blood in your body goes up, so you're also still getting rid of all of that fluid.
The
And you're having to
extras.
hydrate a lot because of
The breastfeeding, yes, yeah.
So you're really having to make those loo runs
Living in
in
the toilet.
between the loo, and then now the yeah.
You guys had pain postpartum. Me, I had such nice meds then. I did not feel.
Let
me tell you.
Even if we had had them at some point, they would be an unbearable. And then now there's that, and then remember there's also the breastfeeding where the stomach is also.
That I remember, but in terms of pain management, mine was really good.
For number 2 and 3, even me, like I barely
Number 2
felt
and 3
it.
was
I was
good.
getting
So bad,
up, I was
yeah.
walking around, and then I was also trying not trying to be a hero at this point.
Yeah,
because at
you'd
the
learnt your
beginning you're
lesson.
like, no, I can be brave. I'm like,
I
this
am a
is what
mother.
motherhood is. It is suffering. It is dying for your child. So that you can hold it over their heads when they become an adult.
Yeah.
But
by the second
also
one, I was
important
like,
to note that,
screw that.
I think with CS, and it would be interesting to hear, I guess, from our listeners from a point of now the natural birth, because unfortunately here we're a bit skewed on the scale. We are more of the CS type. So please let us know what your experience has been when on
When
vaginal
you're
birth.
recovering
Yeah.
from that.
So, but I do remember also that one of the things that was helpful was the frequent movement.
Yeah.
Because
Which they tell you to do.
It really helps your healing.
Yeah.
Really helps your healing. So don't be those babes who actually, when you get a CS, you sit now, you're not going to move.
No, they tell you to move.
You're not going to heal
Yeah.
well. Don't
I have a
overdo
horror
it.
story for that.
Don't overdo it though.
Number 3, you guys, I almost died. For real.
Because
What happened?
Then at the hospital, still at the hospital, right? See, they tell you to get up and start walking around and whatever, right? So me, by number 3, I'm like, I know all this stuff. By there, it's just a hoax. Who cares? I'm going to walk around when I get to my house. Little did I know. Day 2, Brian has spent the whole day with me. We are fine, whatever. But I've just been feeling like a pressure is building, and I'm just getting a bit more tired. And then when he finally goes at like 6 in the evening, because I'm like, I got this, I'm good. He leaves, and all of a sudden, I just feel sick. Like I feel like I want to throw up. I'm feeling like foggy in my brain. I have pain in my stomach, and I can't figure out what's going on. So I call the OB and I tell him, you guys, I'm just not feeling right. He's like, okay, Sasa, I'm on my way. I'll be there in about an hour. In the meantime, they bring me back the baby to breastfeed. And as soon as I shikilia her like this, I just feel like I'm about to throw up. I was literally about to throw up all over her. So I start ringing the bell for the doctor, and they come and they take her, and I throw up, and I didn't stop throwing up for like 3 hours, just constantly throwing up.
What?
So by the time the doctor arrives, I feel like I told you guys this story.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
I had this
You
one.
have, okay.
I don't
had
remember
it.
this
Yeah.
story.
So by the time the doctor arrives, he comes and then he makes me lie down and he starts tapping my tumbo like this, like he does a couple of checks. So I think he has a theory in his mind.
Yeah.
Then he tells me, so what's happening is you're constipated severely. Like everything is very backed up, and then you also have gas. So it's like you're just about to explode. Me, I had not clicked. That's the reason
Wow.
they tell you to walk around.
Yeah.
Because, like the walking is
Yes,
really,
bowel
to
movement
move.
helps you to-
Me, I was like, I'm a hero.
yeah.
I mean, after 3, I think my stomach knows what it's supposed to do, right? Hey, you
You
guys.
just need one
and I
big
was,
munyambo and you're good.
And I was
But
like,
no,
it was
I know,
so
but
crazy.
it is not
Which
one.
they ask.
It is not one.
But then they ask you, are you
is not
passing?
one.
Yeah, they
gas?
do. They keep asking you,
Okay,
but I
and then-
hadn't, and this was day 2.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because the symptoms they were not all in my stomach. So that's the reason I didn't connect
you
the
didn't
two.
pick,
Because
yeah.
now I have the headache, I'm throwing up, I'm feeling foggy, like I'm feeling like the world is grey and whatever. So he comes and he tells me, no, I know what the problem is.
The
We
poops.
can fix this. So we do the enema, and it's like
Instant
just
relief.
warm.
Yeah.
No, it's not instant, but it takes like 20 minutes. So the doctor told me, now once we put this thing in, be on your way to
Enema
the
is
toilet because
Don't accept visitors.
don't just get up and start moving. And let me tell you, it is not a lie. Like I started walking. And I was
you're
walking like super slowly. It took me about 5 minutes to actually get to the door of the bathroom. And I arrived and I thought,
Oh.
it's happening. It's happening. I just had to walk this like,
Waddle.
dark walk into the bathroom, sit
Because
down.
let me tell you,
and
it can rip.
I swear,
Badly.
I was skipping coming from the loo after that.
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
The relief
so
is
happy. Yeah. Even the pain had gone, everything.
Yeah,
I
like
was
giving
fine.
up, baby.
By number
Yeah.
2, Let me tell you, I did not even hold. I used to be like, if you're coming to visit me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll have to
There
keep
will
passing
be
gas.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, so you're in my space.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not going to be hurting with stitches and then I'm going to be having air bubbles also.
Yeah.
I used to tell my husband, I'm sorry, but I didn't
Bring
think
your
I have to
face
let
mask.
it rip, man.
Serious. Yeah. I was like, I'll just get the Ducolax, that thing, the
laxative.
Yeah,
But
it'll
they
be
say-
fine. You'll be okay. I swear, I was calling Brian to tell him goodbye.
I'm dying.
Yeah,
Take care of the babies.
Hey, but
I'm
let me
not
tell you, I
coming
think that's the
home.
one thing I appreciate that all the gynas did from the beginning, even with the switch. And I guess it's also because I think my sis wasn't too far, or she hadn't completely forgotten this process.
Yeah.
Also, everybody was just like, babe, be on top of that bowel movement.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, and if you feel something
Yes.
that needs to pass,
Yeah.
Pass
let
it.
it pass.
Let it out.
Don't hold back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that was like, I looked forward to see, there's the first walk. I think that's the one that caught me in shock. The first time the whole get up, let's
Yeah.
go to the toilet. I'm like, did you not hear I just came from surgery 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
They're like,
like,
yeah,
no.
that's why we need you to. But I remember I've always had that whatever of on the first day, really just making sure, even when I'm eating and stuff, to just make sure. And then they do give you the laxative also in hospital to just make sure. I was very intentional even with what I'm eating to make sure that it just, man boggers. Me and
Bring
veggies
them.
were like, we are like
Except
this.
cabbage.
Except, no, cabbage I was eating for the third one. Remember cabbage
yeah,
baby? But anyway.
But you know, the reason for that is because when you get a CS, they numb everything.
Yeah.
Right? So that is why even your bowel muscles
Yeah.
are
they're still-
completely, they've gone to sleep. So that is why it becomes a priority to get that movement and
Yeah.
cycle.
Of sorts, yeah.
And it's a mark of, okay, you're on your way to proper recovery.
Yeah.
So that's why they keep insisting. I remember being asked so many times, I was like, I thought you'd ask me about the baby or pain.
Yeah.
Or like, have you?
They'll actually, yeah.
And they won't actually discharge you.
Yeah. Until you
Until-
do. Yeah.
Until you have,
You have
they're
to,
like,
yeah.
have you passed gas?
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is so
No, actually,
private.
mine was they don't discharge you, and I think this is standard. They don't discharge you until you pass stool.
Stool,
as well.
yes,
Yeah.
but it's
Gas
part
you
of
have to.
it's part of
'Cause
that
for
check.
Stage
Yeah.
one is urine.
Yeah.
So stage one is you have to go and
Pee.
you have to pass urine.
Yeah.
Then they'll know, okay, we're good, and it's within the first hours, for
Post.
first like 6 hours post.
Yeah.
You have to pass urine. Then after that, the next one now is they'll keep coming to check on you for are you passing gas? Are you passing gas? By the next, within 24 hours, you should have
You should have
had,
pooped.
you should have had, a
Yeah.
good poop.
And so they keep it. And so I appreciate that level of, you know, although it,
And
like
they
it's-
still send you home with a big whatever of laxative
me, I didn't get
to
any
keep
of that.
drinking.
I did.
Because
Yeah.
I
You did,
did. You have to keep drinking it every single. In fact, he told me, listen,
Don't be a hero.
you must. In fact, was it 2 times or 3 times a day for the first week or
can't
something like
remember,
that?
but it was,
But you would have to. He was like, take this.
This is priority.
Please take this. And he'd be like, and please make sure that your veggie intake is high. We
Yeah.
need to really keep things moving smoothly
Yeah.
for your healing to go well.
Okay.
So I did really follow up with it. If there's something I feared, I was like, listen, we cannot struggle with trying to give birth or giving birth, and then we're also going to struggle in the loo. Like, have you ever felt like the world is ending in the loo?
Pick one.
I
Pick
mean,
one, yeah.
that at that moment, you're about to start writing your will.
Because you can't poop.
Yeah.
But let me ask you,
Yeah.
when did the magic happen?
What magic?
Like, this has all been so
Never come back.
there.
That is the magic. What is that question?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, so a lot of this has sounded so like horror story. I feel like there's people out there who are just going to renew their pills now and make sure that thing is sitting right because
we are
the
we're not-
injectables.
Yeah. But when did the magic happen? What was like the magic?
No, I think the magic happens from day one. I think the magic is in the silence. Okay, for me, no,
Yeah.
it's the little moments. It is
Quantify.
because it's there. For me, let me quantify it. It's not that immediately the cuteness is there. I feel like I incrementally bonded with my baby and what I felt like she was a foreign body. You know, like she was like, gosh, okay, I guess this is mine. Top of okay. But the more I breastfed, the more we bonded in that way. There was the cuteness of the moments when you put the baby down. Success, that first time you put the baby down, they've burped and they've actually slept. That car. And then the cuteness. I feel like there's now the hormone biggest. There's a hormone that gets released from the
when you
baby
breastfeed.
that
Oxy.
that just makes you just I don't know. It's just fall in love with them. The cuteness of, look at this little terror.
It's mine.
You kept me up all night, but you're so cute. Why are you so cute? I think for me it's those moments when you watch your child sleep and just look so peaceful, and you're without sleep and tired, but you're like, at least somebody's getting some in, I think for me it's those cute moments. Or when they'd open their eyes and just look at you, or when they're breastfeeding and the way they lock eyes with you in a way that's just like, even my husband has now looked at me like this, There's just a love that you can just, that purity.
Yeah.
And then just when they're looking at you in that moment, then you realize, I'm this child's everything. Like, if I don't change their diaper, imagine this child is doomed. If I don't feed them, this child could die.
Yeah.
If I don't take care of them, like, I think for me, it's just that it's in the breastfeeding, it's in the looking at them, it's in them watching them sleep, just how the things you do for them actually create comfort. That for me was there. Yeah.
Poetry. I think for me, magic was 6 weeks. Why 6 weeks? Because I think then we had finally figured out breastfeeding. There was a bit of a routine. I had more opportunities to bathe. So I felt human. And also at 6 weeks
Smells human.
Yeah. At 6 weeks is when you go for the first jabs. And then when they do the baby weigh in, and the nurse is like, "Oh, you're doing well." I think then I was like, I have understood now.
Yeah.
I know this assignment.
Yeah.
I think before then it was just like keep alive, everyone alive. You're thinking somewhere seeds. Everyone says seeds.
Yeah.
So that's what you're thinking.
Oh yeah.
Hey, my
Seeds.
seeds thing lasted till 10 months even. I think I was still
At
like
seeds.
seeds.
Man,
As in
You have
such
to
a
explain
big
SIDS for
Yeah.
people who
So
don't know what it
SIDS is the acronym for sudden infant death syndrome. And apparently it happens when the baby just dies and they don't know why. And it's really prevalent in those early months. I think from 0 to 3 months postpartum, that's when the risk is highest. And so at the back of my mind, that's when I was just like, let's get to a certain age when that is no longer a risk, even though it can happen at any time, even after the 0 to 3. So, but then going for that hospital, the first, because that's when she gets her first set of jabs, the main ones after, you get the one
at the hospital.
at the hospital, and then you're told
that was
the BCG.
BCG. Yeah.
That one is the first one, and then there's the main. Now you're a mother. And so going for that checkup and then being assured that, she's
The weight has come
the
back.
weight she has put on some grams.
Yes.
Look, she's chubbing up.
She's
and even for them,
chubbing
they
up.
begin to look cute.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they
They've got
flag
fat.
They're
now.
filling
Now
out.
the wrinkles are going away. You can see the features.
Yeah.
You can see them coming into themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that for me was just like, okay, this is now magic. But before that,
It was rough.
Yeah.
I felt like a chicken farmer. Like, if you don't leave the lamp on, the chicks, they freeze. You left the fox. The fox is in the hen house. I just felt like, what are we doing?
Everything was just a risk.
It was.
Everything about our babies. And you?
And you?
What
Yeah.
was your
Beth?
magic moment?
Mine were moments, and I can't tell you at what point, how many weeks or whatever. But in between the breastfeeding and the clenching of buttocks and the accident, which we'll talk about in another episode.
Where you dropped the baby.
Shh,
I
there's
did
people
that
who
also.
still don't know.
I think if you haven't dropped a baby, you're not. Imagine it's okay.
Yeah.
If your baby has not fallen and you don't know where it is, then you are not a
I
mother.
mean,
Fishing
fetch
for the-
them
oh,
from
crap.
strange places. It's normal.
Yeah.
They're fine. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah. So there were moments of unwrapping her when I'm changing her and she's not crying because she's already fed. And it's not bath time, which is just a war zone, but you just look at them and you're seeing toes and you're seeing fingers and you're seeing a little tummy and you're seeing the eyes are connecting with you and there's just a zen and a peace and you're like, I carried this for 9 months, brought it out into the world and look, we are making it. Yeah, I'm smelling of milk, I'm smelling of puke and whatever, but there's like a peace that just arrives and you're just like,
Yeah.
I think there was also how you hold them, then they fall asleep on your chest. And the way they just look.
Oh.
There's a way they curl and they just put their cafes.
And the
Just
smell.
the smell.
The baby smell. Crack. If
My
they could
God.
bottle that stuff.
Yeah. Kwanzaa that first first like 3 months.
Yeah.
They want a smell that's so addictive. Like, but then when I visit babies,
Yeah, you go to smell
I
other
go to
people's
smell
babies, yeah.
I go to smell babies. I wouldn't even lie.
Yeah.
They smell deep.
And I think that's I would say that is biology at work, because I mean you see it with other animals. There's a smell that they recognize and they're like, this is my offspring. So even with humans,
Yeah,
I think for us that is the trigger that is like, this is mine.
Uh-huh.
I must protect it at all costs.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I think it's been fun talking about that process of coming home with your baby and realizing, hey, it is yours.
Yeah.
You and the person you live with or the people you live with are responsible now for the rest of the journey. And it's not something I want to repeat as much as I love being a mother.
Yeah.
That part I can skip. I would skip. I even envy people who just adopt children who are ready made.
I know.
Has
You come
gone
at your
over
come
the-
sleep trained.
I was like, you know what you're doing. So, but I think it's an important journey in the process of becoming a parent. It's a lot of work for mothers.
And
It's
fathers too.
extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And but you make it somehow. And
I think another beautiful part is just now also how we have a lot of involved dads nowadays. And even for them, it's in there. I remember coming back and I couldn't wash the baby. And it was Mato who had to do the washing of the baby because I couldn't bend, I couldn't.
Yeah.
And he did it for quite a number, but even just seeing the bonding for him, day one, the progress from day one of, you said I hold the baby, how? They come here. Will I break them? Like, look at my hands and this baby's size, Like, you start where, and you're basically teaching them how to wash the baby and stuff, and just how they grow into it, how they now use those moments to bond. The first time they're able to take the baby and bap them successfully and put them down. There's just like a cuteness and how when the baby becomes more interactive, when they're smiling or recognizing, and you can see how the joy they get from coming home and just wanting to hold the baby and just play with baby and just, I mean, I feel like as they grow, I feel like the dads, I think now when the baby comes out, for us, we've had the bonding from when they're inside us with all the kicks and all the stages, right? But I feel like the fathers is from sight.
Yeah.
And from the minute they see them, as the months grow, seeing the baby develop from the outside, I think for them is now there. Today she's, she's, she
did
can
a different
recognize
thing.
me.
She
She's
did that.
cooing when she sees me.
Yeah.
She's responding to my... So you can see that bond. And now when they're getting into the interaction, when they can say what they want, or they're crawling, or you're seeing them getting... I feel like from what I've understood from most the guys I've talked to, they say they feel like as the baby is getting more interactive, they then begin to understand more what we deal a lot with intuition. You intuitively will be able to see, she curled this time a lot more. You're breastfeeding, so you interact a lot more. But for them, with the higher stages, the interactiveness are the now things that are now apparent to now everybody. She's crying because she's trying to get to this thing, or he's crying because. So for them, and then the talking stage, I've had a lot of dads saying is the best because now you can say
we can engage.
milk. I can get that. I can relate with that.
Yeah.
And even just being able to they feel a lot more confidence with being able to take the baby on their own at that point because they feel like now there's a sort of communication where I can tell this is happening. Whereas before that, I know there was like apprehension for guy. If I go and this child begins to, where do I even start? If they have a blowout, where do I start?
Yeah. It gets easier, at least
Yeah.
in the short term. It gets easier. We are yet to know what lies ahead. But for now, we remain grateful that we are at least successful.
Yeah.
As
And it's the small wins. Don't look for the big ones. It's the small wins. That day you manage to bap that child at their teeny weeny rat size. It's a win.
You're doing
a win
good.
is a win. A win is a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Changing in the diaper without the lights on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ninja. Those are ninja
Boss
moves.
Yeah.
That's why we call ourselves ninja parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, girlies, that was a fun discussion. Can't wait for the next one. Yeah.
See you guys.
I hope
soon.
you're not too traumatized.
No, there's
That's
no
your
trauma.
comments. Yeah.
Until the next one.
But how do you guys find us? We're on Instagram, Ninja Parenting KE, Facebook, Ninja Parenting KE, Twitter, Ninja Parenting KE. Yeah.
And we'll put all those in
and we'll plug them in
boxes. Or,
yeah.
Those places.
Yes. So until next time, this was Ninja Parenting.